Gavin Newsom and Karen Bass have already proven their incompetence and poor leadership during the Los Angeles wildfires. Now, as we experience rampant lawlessness and civil unrest, it's never been more clear California's in a state of turmoil. And I ask,
can I curse? I don't know if I can.
Please,
Okay.
you must. It's a necessity.
So, Democratic establishment candidates are full of shit. And I need people to understand that. And we need to get out of this like vicious pendulum swing cycle where we go from one terrible administration to another terrible administration. They just have different branding.
California suddenly feels like the wildest circus you've ever stumbled into. And it's not even the clowns stealing the spotlight. Mel Gibson crashes in like an unexpected action hero, while Kasparian wields a flamethrower of sarcasm with precision. Poor Gavin Newsom. His carefully styled hair can barely survive this onslaught. If you thought politics was chaotic before, brace yourself. This spectacle makes reality TV look like a quiet church bake sale. Grab some popcorn. This is pure, unfiltered absurdity.
What would a President Newsom candidacy look like in a general election, not just pandering to the left?
Yeah, good question. He would sell out the American people to corporate interests, just like he did with PG&E, starting fires and destroying countless Californians' lives as a result of that. He bailed them out.
Mel, any message from you to Governor Newsom or Karen Bass tonight?
Spend less on hair gel. That's it.
Yeah.
You know, what can I say to them? Not big admirer of either.
I don't like it.
If you enjoy this, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. You might be surprised by just how much help it brings. California now feels like a massive movie set gone off script. The director has stormed out, the actors have forgotten their lines, and the extras are somehow running the show. Once seen as America's crown jewel, land of sunshine, palm trees, and overpriced avocado toast, it now feels more like a low-budget disaster flick, especially with Gavin Newsom's special effects team quitting halfway through.
And I ask my fellow Angelinos, why are Gavin Newsom and Karen Bass still in office? How much more of their destructive decision-making masquerading as leadership are we going to tolerate? It's time to take back our community and our state and put the power and the privilege in the hands of competent leaders whose goals are to protect us and the way of life this nation was founded upon and promises to offer.
Take San Francisco, for example. It now looks more like a post-apocalyptic wasteland than the shining city by the Golden Gate, with tech bros zipping past sprawling tent camps on electric scooters. Los Angeles isn't much better. Sure, the Hollywood sign still gleams, but weaving around potholes big enough to swallow a Prius makes it hard to feel inspired.
He's so cool and relatable in his genes, and but like between Cuomo and Newsom, these are actually two really good examples of people who represent the Democratic Party establishment who have not fully reckoned with their unpopularity during the COVID crisis and are now sort of trying to be as powerful as they were before without, I don't know, maybe actually even being seriously introspective as opposed to whatever the hell that was.
You're absolutely right, okay, in your analysis. And let me just say, you know that I like you when I'm willing to sit through a podcast episode featuring Gavin Newsom just to prepare for this. Okay, because I can't stand him. I can't stand his raspy voice. And it's not for any superficial reason other than the fact that I live in California. I've had the displeasure of experiencing.
Newsom smiles through it all, his perfectly styled hair catching the light as if one new speech could somehow rescue the state. In reality, though, Californians are losing jobs faster than a wound bleeds, and businesses are fleeing the state like sharks sensing blood in the water.
We deserve much more and much better, and there is absolutely no adequate excuse the governor or mayor can make for this gross mismanagement and failure to preemptively deal with what they knew was coming. Was it incompetence? Was it indifference? Complacency? Carelessness? Yes. Was it negligence? Absolutely.
Next up is Mel Gibson. Yes, the Hollywood outlaw. A man who can throw a punch, take one, and has spent his life playing tough guys. Watching him enter California politics feels like seeing a battle-hardened fighter stumble into a beauty pageant. He doesn't belong, yet you can sense something extraordinary is about to happen. When Gibson looks at Newsom, he sees a failed director, not a governor. The set is collapsing, the actors are terrible, and the script makes no sense. Yet Newsome behaves as if it's Oscar season. California is supposed to be the dream factory, but the palm trees only make the nightmare more vivid. Gibson doesn't rely on statistics. He simply points out what's glaringly obvious: the trash, the crime, and the masses fleeing to Texas in U-Hauls like pioneers abandoning a fallen kingdom.
He totally bailed them out. He has provided protection for them, even though they've absolutely refused to update their century-year-old equipment, which everyone knew was going to lead to devastating wildfires. That's exactly what happened. The fire that happened in
Hawaii, same thing there, Maui.
Yes, but look, what happened in Hawaii is very similar.
Meanwhile, Anna Kasparian sharpens her craft while Mel Gibson delivers his Hollywood-sized roast. Her goal isn't a dramatic punch, it's precision. Where Gibson lands an emotional gut punch, Anna hands you the hard, cold receipts. Even Newsome's most loyal supporters can't ignore the way she dissects every detail. She views him from an unflinching perspective, which makes her critique especially harsh. He should want her on his team. They belong on the same page, opposing injustice, inequality, and progressive failings. But Anna isn't impressed by stage photo ops or flashy press releases. She focuses on the real record, and in her eyes, Newsome is failing the very people he claims to serve. Her mockery lands in a way that's both funny and sobering, like watching someone dismantle a Lego creation until all that's left is a chaotic heap of colorful plastic embarrassment.
In 2019, I think Newsom said, I'm going to take care of the forest and maintain the forest and do all that kind of stuff. He didn't do anything.
Didn't do anything. And then on top of that, they cut the water off.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's all funny. And then I think all our tax dollars probably went for Gavin's hair gel. I don't know, but it's like, it's sad. It's like the place is just on fire.
Well, the whole state is just so poorly managed.
The contrast creates a powerful 1-2 punch. Mel, the untamed rebel, pounds away at the walls of a crumbling stronghold, while Anna slips in through the cracks, targeting the foundation with surgical precision. On one side, a rising Democratic star. On the other, a man caught in a roasting session he never agreed to. The impact resonates. Gibson's fury mirrors the frustration Californians feel every day, reflecting the state's chaos. Anna's critique, however, cuts deeper, pointing to intellectual betrayal even from his own allies. Together, they form a lethal tag team that Newsome never anticipated. You almost feel sympathy for him. There he is, the composed politician on stage, smiling, gesturing, pretending everything is fine while the walls around him crumble.
In 2014, voters in California overwhelmingly supported a ballot measure to support building more reservoirs in the state in order to bulk up our water infrastructure because we live in a drought-prone state. That passed in 2014. Funding was attached to it. You want to know how many reservoirs have been built since 2014? Zero. This state is an utter joke because of the people who are governing it. Gavin Newsom right now is at the top of that list.
Then, as if channeling Braveheart, Mel Gibson bursts in, declaring that the king acts like everything is fine while the kingdom burns. Anna Kasparian steps onto the stage, calmly cataloging every way the king has failed, deceived, and let his people down before the audience has even stopped laughing. The camera cuts to Newsome, capturing his forced smile, beads of sweat, and fading confidence. The audience is riveted by this cinematic takedown. Its timing makes the humiliation even sharper. As a rising national figure, Newsome has been marketing himself as a man who could dominate American politics. Yet Gibson and Kasparian, in their very different ways, remind everyone that California is far from the utopia Newsome claims. It's a cautionary tale of how arrogance, deceit, and mismanagement can crumble even the grandest ambitions. The impact extends beyond laughs. Supporters, donors, and voters grow skeptical. Embarrassment isn't mere comedy. It strips away illusions, leaving only reality, a failing state, a frustrated populace, and two unlikely critics who turn Newsome into the subject of his own satire. And the kicker, he helped create it. If Gibson had his way, this California fiasco would play out as an epic war film. Reusable shopping bags, swaying palm trees, an endless battlefield, and Newsome charging in on a half-finished high-speed rail. A departing IT company to Texas punctuates the chaos. The plot makes no sense, the budget is blown, and yet the star still expects awards. Gibson delivers the raw truth with relentless fire, leaving viewers questioning whether anyone ever read the script before filming began.
For a little over a week now, California Governor Gavin Newsom has been posting in the style of President Donald Trump. And he's getting a lot of admiration for it. So, he's basically engaging in this trolling campaign, and he's been very successful with it on X. Many of those posts have actually racked up tens of thousands of likes. And look, it does play well in the paradigm of left versus right. When you see politics as team sports and nothing more than tribal politics.
And it doesn't get any worse. He isn't wrong. The problems are, obvious. The streets look like a dystopian movie set, and you don't need a policy expert to notice. Middle-class families are leaving faster than influencers launching new skincare lines, and you don't need an economist to see it. Mel Gibson's fury hits home because it captures the everyday frustrations of Californians who can't afford a home without inheriting a gold mine. Anna Kasparian wields her scalpel while Gibson swings a sword of cinematic metaphor. Amid all the pomp, news conferences, billions spent, endless task forces, Newsom's supporters are left reeling because no spin can make the collapse look good. Kasparian doesn't stop there. She scrutinizes wages, inequality, and the governor's carefully curated image as a progressive ally. On paper, he's the man of the people, but in practice, he seems more interested in Napa Valley wine tastings than meaningful outcomes. She's showing more than numbers. She's illustrating a governor more committed to maintaining the status quo than driving real results. The contrast between Gibson and Kasparian is almost comical. Gibson, eyes blazing, paces like a cinematic madman. Kasparian remains cool-headed, pinpointing every plot hole. Together, they deliver a takedown so scathing it makes Rotten Tomatoes look forgiving. Mel exposes his foolishness, Anna highlights his incompetence, and the shared laughter unites Californians across divides. Mocking authority has always been a favorite pastime, and Newsom feels the sting deeply. Gibson might shrug it off as Hollywood theatrics if it were just him. Kasparian could dismiss it as partisan critique if it were only her. But together, they leave a mark that's impossible to ignore.
I'm interested in the governor. I know the governor of the state. He's got some, I know Gavin Newsom, he's got some talent, I think, and charming for sure. But like, what is going on? Is he aware of that? I've asked him, and
You really find him charming?
Well, in a kind of reptilian way. I mean, charming in the sense that his whole life is devoted to winning people over.
Yes, yeah.
Kind of like Bill Clinton was, and I think he's good at it. But I also think, someone said to me the other day, Newsom could pass a lie detector test on saying anything. Like, there's a coldness inside that
he's
allows
a sociopath. I think
That's
he's
kind of
a snake oil salesman. I think he's a liar, and I think that he destroyed the state of California.
When you think about it, it's a cultural moment. His frustrations aren't limited to one group. They're everywhere. And the more he tries to brush them off with a smile, the worse they seem to become. Even his signature smooth grin now appears strained, almost commendably symmetrical in its tension. Gibson embodies the raw irritation of those fed up with the circus, while Kasparian represents the disillusionment of those who once believed in promises that went unfulfilled. Both have had enough of waiting for change, tired of staged photo ops, empty slogans, and endless speeches. Newsom no longer looks comfortable. He seems practiced, but not confident. He appears forced, even phony, and no amount of hair gel can hide the reality. Gibson and Kasparian have exposed the cracks in his performance. You can practically see him squinting into the bright lights. No longer the director of the show. The focus is on him, and his polished rhetoric fails as a performance. It embarrasses him. The crowd isn't cheering for him. They're applauding the takedown.